Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice, Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper, and I am your host for this week's episode, and every week's episode for that matter. These shows, specifically this one, this mini-series, The One Question, is quickly becoming my favorite. I love to share my friends with you guys and to give their insight into what they specialize in, what is making them huge in their space, and ultimately bringing them to you. I had a comment one time, or rather a question. Somebody asked me, how do I curate my network and how is my network so large? How do I know these gargantuan of human beings? I was actually on my way to an event when they asked this question. I'm pretty sure I've covered this in previous episodes. And this event was a $1,000 dinner. We had to tip $1,000, or we got to tip $1,000 to sit down and eat some tacos. It was fabulous. There was 40 people there. We donated $40,000 to that little taco restaurant. And it was such a cool experience. And while I was sitting there, I got to meet somebody that I would have never otherwise met. And my answer to this person was, I pay to be in the rooms that those people I'm seeking to befriend also pay to be in. We are on the same level, at least for that moment. Many of these people are in a very different income bracket than me at the moment. I will surpass all of them. However, in the moment, we're equal. We've paid the same to be in the same space. And many of these people have gone to great lengths to befriend and to become friends with. And how cool it is to call them friends. I am grateful for my friends. They are exemplars in so many things and ways for me. The person I bring you this week is nothing short of amazing. He is an absolute stud in everything he does. He's a gargantuan in his space. In fact, I'm actually going to read you his intro because it's that cool. His name is Jerome Maldonado. You may or may not have heard of him, but I'm going to read this to you. Jerome Maldonado is a real estate developer, investor, and author. He's not just playing the game, he's defining it. With a staggering $600 million portfolio under his belt and on track to hit $1 billion by 2025, Jerome Maldonado is a titan shaping the contours of property investment. Over the last 4 years, he has molded $247 million in family assets, solidifying more than 1,100 doors. And it's like 5 paragraphs after that of how amazing this person is that I bring to you. But there is something more amazing than his financial and business accolades. I was with Jerome in Mexico, and he left a day early from this event that we paid a decent chuck to be at. Why did he leave? He left for his son, I'm pretty sure it's his son's sports athletic tournament. And then I started paying attention to Jerome. And I started noticing he was leaving events, even his own events that he was hosting, to be at his children's athletic events. I've known on more than one occasion, he placed his family first and foremost. This is not showboating. I just paid attention and noticed this and saw how much Jerome put his family before everything. And that is exactly why I bring Jerome on to this week's episode of The One Question. So, without further ado, here is the man, the myth, the legend, Jerome Maldonado. All right, we have Jerome Maldonado with us on The Hard Choice. And I am so grateful for Jerome, his time, his love, his example to me. I've already introed a little bit about what he does, who he is, but more importantly, where he places his family. So Jerome, dude, I'm grateful for you and I love you. How has placing your family at the highest priority benefited your life, bro?
I think anytime you have something that you're working for that's greater than you and greater than money, it places massive value in anything that you're doing in life. At a young age, Brad, we all we're all after just money because I think for most people we don't come from it and we're just we're chasing the dream. And I think most of us, for the vast majority of us, I know at least for me this was true. I wanted to prove to everybody that I was somebody special, right? And how do you do that? By making money, by buying a car, by buying stuff. And my mom one time told me, she goes, because I was doing it. I was doing it. It took me 3 years. I went broke, but I was trying to pretend like I was making money in early years back in the early 1990s. And I was pretending to everybody that I was making money. And everybody knows the real truth, and that's what's funny is the only person that you're really fooling is yourself. And and then finally, after about 3 years of hard struggling financially, I really started making a little bit of money. And so, to prove to everybody, to prove that I was just this badass in business, I started buying stuff. And that stuff might give you a quick dopamine ride, but it fades fast. And I remember my mom telling me because she always used to tell me as a kid, because I was a show off kid. In sports and everything, I was a show off. And so again, in business, I was a show off. And my mom told me I was probably about 23 years old, 24 years old. And she goes, Jerome, she goes, that's great that you're having success, but nobody cares because everybody in the moment might ooh and ah for like a few seconds. But
Right.
what ends up happening is they have so much problems and they have their own stuff going on that the second they leave, they forget about you. So if you want that stuff, you go do it for you, but no one else cares. And so I remember her telling me this, and you recognize it finally after we're too stupid to listen to our parents at a young age because we know everything. And now I got teenagers and my kids, same thing. They don't listen to me, but we live the course of life and we learn, right? So I tell young people, I say, look, man, there's a certain wisdom that people of maturity have over us. And if we just embraced and listened to it for a little bit, it'd make life a lot easier. And so as we mature and we go through life, we recognize that. And if we're smart enough, we embrace it. And I'll tell you that success just breeds better everything in regards to relationships, health, quality of life in many different aspects, but family at the forefront of those. And, I think they keep me grounded. They humble you because you're just good old dad. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your success level is. When you come home, you need to be a husband, a father, and no one cares about any of the other bullshit. It's all bullshit. And so at the end
Yeah,
of the day, that's really what keeps you grounded.
dude, I love it. Our relationship forged about 2 years ago, and you left the event we were at early. If I recall, you were going to your son's tournament. I think it was a jujitsu tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what it was? Do you remember?
It was either a gymnastics
Or
tournament, it could have been an
gymnastics?
MMA, yeah, tournament,
Yeah,
or football.
yeah, dude.
I think it was gymnast. Oh, actually, we were in Mexico. Yeah, he was gymnastics. He was
It was
competing over in.
gymnastics.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
right.
that is so cool. And little did I know that is not unusual for you. That I've watched you and you don't showcase it. I've just noticed he posts all of a sudden he's in Vegas at an event that he's hosting, that you're hosting, Jerome. And then next thing I know, you're at an event within like an hour. And then you're back at your personal event in Vegas. And I've watched you put your family first over and over and over. And that has been such an example to me. And then you just recently did something that I've never seen before, which was awesome. Tell us about putting your kids on stage, bro.
You know that it's hard to put a room together with 700 to 800 people in it, first and foremost. But even harder is to get on a stage in front of that room with 700 to 800 people.
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, our event has slowly grown, and to have the fortunate opportunity to make your kids get on stage in front of those folks. in their own vulnerability is humbling in its own righteousness, but also in it's empowering. And so I told my wife 3 years ago when we first put them on stage in front of about 250 people, just post COVID, right out of COVID. It really moved mountains for their confidence, especially my son and my daughter. And then last year we did it again in front of about 500 people, and this year we did it again in front of just shy of 800 people. And every year they get better. You know, they get more confident. They embrace it a little bit more. You see them come out of their shell a little bit more. And with public speaking being the one of the greatest fears in the world over
Mm-hmm.
death, and to be able to put them on stage and have that crushed as a limited belief in their brain, it'll just empower them in life later. So yeah, we have done that, and we plan on doing it again, and to be able to put a stage big enough for them to go out and increase their confidence, I feel like it's worth its weight in gold for their futures.
Absolutely. And that's something I want to do. I mean, I'm building my speaking career and getting on stages and get on every stage I possibly can. And I do envision one day speaking with my kids and my wife on stage, doing a panel and having them speak in front of thousands. But you're right, dude. You can see it in your kid's face. I was watching your son and your daughter both on stage and their confidence. How old are they? They're
My son's
teenagers, right?
yeah, he's 15, and my daughter just turned 13.
Yeah, dude. And watching the confidence in their eyes just beam, but not just confidence in their eyes, but how proud they are of
Yeah,
themselves, but also of their dad.
yeah.
That speaks volumes about you. They don't need to say much about you, but you can see it.
I scripted that portion for them in the talk. Told them, you guys have to say this about me if you guys
You
get
have to
on
say
stage.
something good.
Yeah,
Don't say
yeah,
dad made me come on here. Dad said,
yeah.
dad gave me the opportunity to bless you all.
No, they're good. They're good kids, man. You just I had no idea what they were going to speak on. Last year and the year prior, we actually helped sculpt their speeches with them, and this year, my son was like, "I got it, Dad," and I had no idea what they were going to speak on behalf of this year, either one of them. So they did a great job.
They did. That is awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to hop on The Hard Choice and to share your thoughts, your wisdom, and your love. I know it has been felt by all. It's been felt by me. How can they find you? Where can they support you? Socials, website.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. If you just go to jeromemaldonado.com, I'm sure it'll be in the show notes here. On every platform, you can Google my name, jeromemaldonado.com, or just go to Jerome Maldonado on any platform. And on Instagram, it's the Jerome Maldonado. Yeah, so pretty easy to find.
I love it. So everybody's going to start following after you and seeing what an example you are. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Jerome. Have a great day, man.
Yeah, Brad, you as well. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me.
Yep. Was that not amazing? I hope you can feel Jerome's love and how huge of a human he really is. I look up to Jerome in so many ways. He is very easy to find on social. As he said, his handles, I am grateful for him. And I'm grateful for his example to me on what it truly looks like to have your priorities straight. Jerome is a very successful businessman, but an even more successful family man. I implore you, I beg of you to do the same. It is so cool when I see people that are more successful as a family man than they are as an already successful businessman. That is the true flex. That is the real win. That is the reason I left my career as an executive. To do all these things, I had these goals, as I've said in other episodes, that I recognized my goals and the path I was on were not in alignment. I recognized that being at the lab was not going to get me to where I wanted to go financially or help me succeed in what I wanted to achieve with speaking on stages around the world and visiting cultures around the world with my family. Being at a facility many hours a day, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20, sometimes hours a day, would not allow that to happen. But ultimately, at the root core, I missed my son's first word. I missed my oldest son's first crawl. I missed his first step. I got to experience all of my first son's milestones via video from my wife. And I cannot explain to you the hurt I had when watching these, while I was very excited to see my son go through these milestones of life as an infant and as a baby and as a toddler. I wasn't there. I was missing all of them. And I know this statement of I'm doing it for my family, I'm doing it for my kids. Well, what good is it if you're not there? And that is the ultimate reason why I left my career. So I can speak on stages and experience the culture of the world with my family. This came very poignantly on a family trip where I got to be with my family on a Tuesday, beachside in Newport, California. It was such a cool experience, and it was everything I was working towards. And I am so much more fulfilled now that I get to experience my family. I have been there for my second son's first crawl, first step, first word, and so many other milestones. I've been able to go to the vast majority of their doctor's appointments and all these different firsts in their life. And I am so grateful to be in a position to be able to do that. It did not come without trial. And it came by a really scary step of leaving a very comfortable six-figure income. But it was ultimately holding me back. So I ask you the question, what is holding you back? Where are your priorities? Where does your family fit? Are they the reason why you're doing everything? Or are they the reason why you're doing everything and you are actually present and there during those experiences? That is the ultimate question. And that is what I will leave you with on this week's episode of The One Question. I hope you loved Jerome's comments, questions, thoughts as much as I did. I'm grateful for him. Go find him on all the social medias. Show him some love. Reach out to him. He is a gentle giant of a human. And I'm grateful for him and for you. Continue this conversation with your friends and your family. Leave me a review on social. If you ever need my services, reach out to me. I help companies with policies and procedures. I help companies scale, duplicate, and franchise to ultimately grow bigger. That's what I do. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.